Caitlin Clark looked at the dwindling shot clock, crossed over to her left, and launched a deep three-pointer over the outstretched arm of Dewanna Bonner. As Clark fell to the ground, the Indiana Fever superstar let the refs hear it. She felt that Bonner, the Connecticut Sun's defensive ace, undercut her on her three-pointer and didn't give her a space to land. Clark pleaded for a foul call. Bonner vehemently disagreed. The two briefly came together to argue before being separated. The whole sequence in Game 2 of the first round of the 2024 WNBA playoffs lasted just a few seconds of each player mirroring the unyielding fire they saw in the other. Neither competitor could have predicted that 4 months later, after the Sun ended the Fever's season, they'd call each other teammates. It's the playoffs, so emotions are high, tension's high, Bonner said Monday. But I couldn't be more excited to step on the court with Caitlin. In fact, they already have. Clark and Bonner, the Fever's most notable free agent signing this offseason, shared an on-court workout Monday in the Fever's practice gym, hours before the space was transformed to include a stage and dozens of chairs for Bonner's introductory news conference. Clark sat on the first row, cracking a sheepish smile when Bonner addressed their postseason dust-up that, knowing how each player is wired, likely won't be their last quarrel as they join forces. That's exactly what you want. You want your teammates to be just as competitive as you are, Clark said. I think training camp's going to be really fun. Clark, alongside Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell, make up a young core in Indiana that put the league on notice last year. After a 1-8 start, the Fever finished the regular season at 20-20 and made the playoffs for the first time since 2016. Bonner had a first-hand account of the Fever's resurgence during the playoffs, and as she weighed her decision this offseason to leave the Sun, who've stripped their roster and gone into full-blown rebuild mode, she did so with one thought rising above the rest. I want to win another championship, said Bonner, who won 2 titles with the Phoenix Mercury. I want to get back to the finals. Bonner believes the Fever, whom she commended as a hungry group, gives her the best chance at that, and the fit just made too much sense. New Fever COO and General Manager Amber Cox, who worked with Bonner in Phoenix, called her a shoo-in future Hall of Famer. Coach Stephanie White, who previously coached the Fever from 2015 to 2016, coached Bonner for 2 years in Connecticut before they reunited in Indiana. Even Bonner's young twin daughters, Callie and Demi, begged their mom to choose Indiana since it's only a few hours' drive from where the kids live in Tennessee. I knew kind of from the beginning that all of the lines kind of connected to Indiana, said Bonner, who inked a 1-year deal with the Fever. But it was just like, should I do this? Should I not? But then I called Amber and I'm like, all right, I'm in, and the tears flowed a little bit. Aside from the personal connections, Bonner said it was the Fever's competitiveness that made them more attractive than other teams. Bonner, 37, also recognized that once she put pen to paper, she'd be marrying the twilight of her career with Clark's unprecedented ascension. During Clark's historic rookie campaign, she broke the league's single-game and single-season assists record en route to earning all WNBA first-team honors. She also became the first rookie to record a triple-double, and did it twice. I don't feel like I need to push her to be any type of player that she isn't already, Bonner said of Clark. Coming in this league is not easy by any means, especially her path. But to see what she's already done for this league and then this organization is kind of insane. You don't see that a lot in rookies, so hopefully, like I said, I can make her life a little easier. Bonner, who is entering her 16th pro season, is coming off back-to-back All-Star nods and her 6th All-Star selection overall. She averaged 15 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1.2 steals last season as the Sun advanced to the playoff semifinals. White said Bonner correctly described herself as a puzzle piece because she can do a bit of everything offensively and defensively to elevate the new-look Fever, who also signed 3-time WNBA champ Natasha Howard in free agency and traded for Sophie Cunningham. Bonner acknowledged that it'll be a challenge for every player to adjust to new roles, but that's a burden she welcomes as Indiana tries to take another step forward. Last year, when Bonner and Clark ruffled each other's feathers in the playoffs, the Fever got sent home. This year, as teammates, their goal is to send everyone else packing. Over the past few months, one of the worst-kept secrets in the basketball world was that there were discussions for a rematch of sorts for the iconic Steph Curry versus Sabrina Ionescu three-point contest at the 2024 NBA All-Star Weekend, which would occur at the 2025 NBA All-Star Weekend. ESPN NBA insider Shams Charania confirmed this with a November 15th report that wrote, Curry and Ionescu are in strong conversations to return in a variation of the shootout, which could include other NBA and WNBA players such as Klay Thompson and Caitlin Clark of the Indiana Fever, sources said. However, news broke last month that Clark had declined this invitation to compete in this 2025 event. Caitlin Clark has formally declined an invitation to be part of a male versus female three-point contest at next month's NBA All-Star Game, preferring to make her three-point shooting debut at the WNBA All-Star Game at her home arena in July. Tom Friend wrote in a January 29th article from Sports Business Journal, Caitlin will not be at NBA All-Star, her representatives at XL Sports Management are quoted saying in the article. She wants her first three-point contest to be at WNBA All-Star in Indianapolis this summer. This sentiment is fair enough for Clark. However, this decision might have caused the entire Curry versus Ionescu rematch to go awry because it was revealed on February 13th that a 2025 version of the three-point contest won't be taking place at all during NBA All-Star Weekend. Many fans are convinced that Clark saying no to this opportunity is what ultimately caused the whole idea to crumble. They didn't feel like doing it no more once Caitlin declined? Let's be real, LOL. One ex-user said in response to a post discussing the 2025 contest not happening. This is not the first time that everyone assumed CeCe was going to do something, made a big deal out of it, then had to do a surprised Pikachu face when she said no. Another fan added. Indiana Fever coach Stephanie Fever has opened up about how impressed she was by Caitlin Clark when the pair first started working together. White was speaking at Purdue University's presidential lecture series, and she was asked about Clark's work ethic. As you may expect, given Clark's undoubted quality on the court, she is hardworking and attentive in training, which White is very appreciative of. So far, she has been coachable, Coach White said. I haven't done a whole lot yet. Most great players want to be coached, they want to be challenged, they want to be pushed outside of their comfort zone because they want to be the greatest that has ever played. I don't want to put words in Caitlin Clark's mouth, but when you have somebody who works like she works on a daily basis, that is perfectionist, that does things at such an elite level, they want to be the best. White only became the Fever coach in the offseason after leaving the Connecticut Suns, and coaching Clark was one of the reasons for taking the job. Further showing just how much she appreciates Clark's quality, White compared her to a WNBA great. I have only worked out with her in the gym a handful of times, but I compare her work ethic to the only other player who I have seen to work. Like this is Tamika Catchings, who is the all-time greatest, like one of the all-time greatest, White said. Late last month, the Indiana Fever landed guard Sophie Cunningham in a three-team trade to pair her with Caitlin Clark. The number 2 pick in 2020, Satu Sabali, was traded to the Phoenix Mercury from the Dallas Wings, who received point guard Ty Harris and the rights to Micaiah Kiki, Herbert Harrigan from Phoenix, and Alyssa Smith from the Fever. Indiana also sent Dallas the 8th pick in this year's draft while receiving Cunningham and the number 19 pick in the draft. Cunningham took part in an interview 2 weeks after the trade where she revealed her recruiting attempt at Clark during the All-Star Game. I totally was, Cunningham admitted when asked about trying to recruit Clark to Phoenix despite being in her rookie season. Cunningham suggested she may have spoken the trade into existence. Maybe I put it in the atmosphere and it happened. I never really saw myself leaving Phoenix. It was my home away from home. I had a great off-court situation. I built a lot of fun relationships out there, she said.